These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still.
All right, testing 1, 2. Testing. Cool. I don't hear myself.
I can't hear you.
Quarter after midnight, and I'm watching the wall.
Hello, 1, 2.
Sometimes I feel so
There we go. Now I can kind of hear you.
You can hear me?
I just
Sort of
can't
in one ear.
sleep at all. Every day doing the same old thing, we're losing time. The weekend comes, we gotta have some fun and rewind. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. I feel the rope a tightening, choking off our air. We need to grab some lightning. Friday's almost here. Caught in a web, we need to cut this thread. We're hanging by. Where is it said you have to be half dead to survive? These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill.
That's not really working.
These are the days of thunder.
There we go. Now can I hear myself? Yeah, I
There
can.
we go. Now I can hear you just fine.
Well, I just want to make sure I can hear myself. I should be able to hear myself, too.
Really? I never hear myself.
Yes, you do. If you pay attention to your headphones when you talk, you hear yourself.
Huh. Oh, hey. Wow, I actually do. I've never noticed that before.
Yeah, you have to. If you didn't, it's like it would be like cupping your ears and talking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because you can hear yourself through your jawbones, but once you cup your ears, you don't hear it as effectively. That's why you need to have that feedback while you're wearing headphones. You actually hear yourself in your headphones.
Just never really occurred to me.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, it looks like we've got all the dials and pegs have been played with, and it's looking pretty good. So we were starting a conversation that you wanted to hold till we got live here.
Yes, Bitcoin.
Bitcoin. Bitcoin's up to $16,000. Oh, it's down to $16,000 today.
What is it with Bitcoin? What even is Bitcoin? It's like little bits of fake coin.
Well,
I
no,
don't even know.
Bitcoin is actually pieces of digital chunks of it's a numeral. It's a number. A Bitcoin is a number. It's a mathematical number. I don't know the formula for creating a number, but I know that the Bitcoin, there is only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoins in existence, never more.
Well, wasn't there like this whole thing about everybody making their own damn Bitcoin?
Well, what they're doing is they're doing what's called mining for Bitcoin.
Okay.
And what was happening, it was a big craze for a while. There's still people that do mining, but it's really hard to find a Bitcoin now because the mathematical number that is created with each Bitcoin is also the mathematical number that is inserted into encryption algorithms. Because that number is so astronomically long now. It's like taking pi out to its infinite, taking pi out to its infinite decimal point. You know,
Okay.
it was easy to get Bitcoins in the beginning. They were really easy to mine in the beginning. It's like I was saying, I had the thing, I discovered Bitcoin back when they were 3 cents a Bitcoin. And I even created my Bitcoin wallet at that time. I never put any Bitcoin into it. I kind of kick myself for that now, of course, because, you know, hindsight is perfect 20/20 vision.
As always.
But I was going to buy some because I thought, oh, this could be useful in the future. Now, this was when did Bitcoin come about? Somewhere in the early 2000s, I believe, was when it was invented. And I could have bought myself, you know, $100 worth of Bitcoins at 3 cents a piece. I would have loved to have that $100 worth of Bitcoins right now at 3 cents a piece. It would have been a couple thousand Bitcoins. And think of a couple thousand Bitcoins now at $1,600 a piece. Or when they were up at their high again this last week, they were up at $19,000 a piece. And the reason people are using Bitcoins, and no trolls in the troll rooms.
Nope, no trolls.
At any rate, the reason the Bitcoins are getting popular is it's a way for people to protect their money, much like having gold and silver. Because Bitcoins will always have some value as far as buying goods. At least that's what they think is going to happen. I'm not 100% certain about that myself, because the problem with Bitcoin is what happens if our internet infrastructure goes down? What happens if we get hit with a massive EMP that wipes out all technology as we know it? So Bitcoin suddenly become absolutely worthless. You know, there's the stories of the guy who had 10,000 Bitcoins on a hard drive he'd bought at 3 cents a piece. And of course, over the years, you upgrade computers. Some people throw away their hard drives. I never do, but he threw away his hard drive. And then it was about a year later when Bitcoin exploded. And all of a sudden he realizes, like, oh my God, somewhere out in the landfill is a Bitcoin wallet with 100,000 Bitcoins in it.
Oh, bloody hell.
You know, so it's like, it's that sort of thing. It's like he has a massive fortune sitting there in a hard drive somewhere, but it's destroyed now, because once that hard drive becomes undone, you can't retrieve it. It can never be retrieved. There was also the story I caught recently about a Bitcoin wallet. It was the largest cache of Bitcoins in existence, and it was in an unnamed wallet, and hackers had been trying to hack that wallet for the last several years.
Oh, wow.
And nobody had gotten into it, but then suddenly all the Bitcoins were transferred out of that wallet a week or two ago.
Oh.
Into another wallet, and they don't know if somebody hacked the wallet or if the original owner got into and transferred the wallet or transferred the Bitcoins or whatever. They just know the Bitcoin moved from that wallet to a new wallet because the Bitcoins are trackable. It's 100% trackable as to where it goes and what happens. You just don't know who owns it at the other end. So the Bitcoin is an interesting phenomenon, and it's a great thing in the digital age. But I'd still place more bets on silver and gold. Is where I would put more of my bets and money. So at any rate, that's what Bitcoin is. Does that answer your question on Bitcoin?
Sort of yes, sort of no. I still don't understand why they're so popular and why everyone's like, oh my God, Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin.
Well, the reason they're so popular right now is because it's been made popular. PayPal allows you to take some of your money and buy Bitcoin. See, the thing is, when you buy a Bitcoin, you don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin. You can buy a piece of a Bitcoin.
Okay.
You can buy a Bitcoin down to
an empty... buy a piece of a Bitcoin. Yeah. Well, then it wouldn't really be a complete Bitcoin,
No, it's not a complete Bitcoin. You can assemble pieces, I guess, to make a full Bitcoin. I don't know how that works. But a Bitcoin is divisible, and that's what makes Bitcoins affordable. But you can buy Bitcoins through PayPal now, which is one of the reasons why the price exploded. And some people out there there's businesses that are starting to accept payment in Bitcoin. But the problem is Bitcoin's price is not stable. It's not a stable price, such as, gold is semi-stable. It's not excessive in its fluctuations. Bitcoin is excessive in its fluctuations. You go back like 3 weeks, Bitcoin was only worth $9,000 3 weeks ago. And then it climbed up to 19,000 over 3 weeks. And now it's fallen again over 24 hours. It's fallen from 19,000 to 16,000. That's a $3,000 difference in what it's worth.
Which is another reason why I don't really understand why everyone is so eager for them.
That's why I don't understand why they're so eager for them, because as a method of buying and selling goods, the value is not stable. It's like if we're going to say for simplicity's sake, okay, I'm going to sell you this item for 1 Bitcoin. That Bitcoin is worth $10,000 today. And then tomorrow the Bitcoin's worth $15,000. Oh, wait a minute. The price is no longer 1 Bitcoin. The price is now 3/4 of a Bitcoin. So, how do you do that? Prices are changing that fast.
Now, there is kind of a plus side that I think I've heard about where the Bitcoins, you can use them for transactions and have no idea what the transactions were.
Well, that's the big plus. That's like if you buy stuff on the dark web, they only take cryptocurrency. And cryptocurrency is Bitcoin is the number one. There's Ethereum. There's like a dozen cryptocurrencies. But if you bought stuff on the dark web, they will only take cryptocurrency. They won't take cash or anything else.
But they're completely trackable.
They're trackable only in the fact that the Bitcoins are being moved. They're not trackable to a single entity or a person.
Oh, okay.
Because you're anonymous at the other end.
Okay, so that's like the one bonus.
That's the big bonus of them is the transaction is truly anonymous. But once the transaction's completed, it's not reversible.
But isn't paper money completely anonymous?
Cash is anonymous too. Yes.
And more so than Bitcoin?
Well, it's hard to send cash over the internet to someone you're buying online.
That's true.
Okay?
It is.
That's where the advantage of Bitcoin or cryptocurrency is you're paying cash online fully anonymously. All right, well, it's time to bring this up and start doing some time here.
I attempted to make a virtual bridge. Not sure how it looked. There we go.
Don't claim to know your story, don't even have my own.
In search for glory, gone with them sacred rules of old. They went missing
Down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Preacher man discovered, passed down from saint to sage, like a kind-hearted lover who's been lost on this stage, went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time.
Not saying they ought to answer, not saying they're right or wrong. I ain't no Texan dancer, we'll move it right along. Went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Junkie and the chigger to see who done the crime. Captain pulled the trigger, guess who's doing time? They went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, is it yours or is it mine?
Most definitely mine.
Don't claim to know your story, don't even have my own. In our search for glory, going with them sacred rules of old. Went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Devil's at a crossroads, Joker's doing fine. Just sitting doing time.
Oh yeah. There we go. Be a shame if I forget to open the show with that, even if we do start a few minutes late. Actually, it's dead on time almost.
And here you are thinking you're late. Jeez.
Well, you know, story of my life. All right, it is time to wind this up and get the show on the road. The entertainment is over with. Now it's time to be boring as hell. All right, off we go. Chewing on Life. It's episode 487 with plugins for Sold Out, Video Conference, Protection, Goodbye, User Guide, Shipping Options, and ClassicPress Options, all coming up on WordPress plugins from A to Z. WordPress. It's the most popular content management and website solution on the internet. And with over 80,000 plugins to choose from, how do you separate the junk from the gem? Join us for a weekly, unrehearsed conversation about the latest and greatest in WordPress plugins. This is WordPress plugins from A to Z. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be hiding out there on the globe today. Coming to you direct from the Brewery Overlook in beautiful Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. I'm John Overall, and with me is the ever lovely
Amber Overall.
And we have the usual great show for you today, but of course, right off the top, what do I got there? Oh, first off, I want to remind everyone, this is November 26th, 2020, and it is American Thanksgiving Day, so I want to take a few moments to say hello to all our American producers out there, and hope you are enjoying your Thanksgiving, getting out there and doing the Rebel in You, getting together with your family, and just enjoying your day. Enjoying it is. So happy Thanksgiving to all the Americans out there that are listening to the show.
Indeed, happy Thanksgiving.
This is a value for value show. I look forward to everyone providing some value back. I'd like to give great appreciation out to the No Agenda show, who I like to remind every time that they have provided lots of inspiration and the occasional stolen sound clip.
Squirrel!
So, without that much there, let us move along here, and I keep losing the track of where everything is at. There it is.
Thank you for sharing, John. Now get down from that soapbox.
I don't think I'm ever going to get bored of that one.
Yeah, that one's funny. I love it. I want more like that.
This is number 46 of 52 episodes for 2020. It's episode 47, and things on the show are moving and shaking into a whole new shape. We've reached week 46 of the year 2020, and we are now 36 weeks into the Rona and back to the simple 2-week lockdown. Not sure. What do you think? Think we'll stay in 2 weeks?
It is not a 2-week lockdown. They're gonna make our life even more miserable. The government we voted back in has decided to become more dictatorial.
And this time with the addition of being fined if you refuse to wear your mask. I know it's happening other places, but it's new here.
Yes, it is brand new here.
And here I was thinking, oh good, people finally seem to be waking up, getting better. Yet now here we are yet again in the twilight zone. The world appears to have jumped out of the pot and into the frying pan, so now is the perfect time to make yourself a little place where you can tune out for a while. It can be anywhere and anything. A blanket thrown over your couch to build a fort, in your bed with your door closed and a do not disturb sign or a sock on your door, or even in your car. Get into a space all your own, throw on some music and grab a book, or even throw on a book and grab a drink. Kick back and breathe. Try to get there at least once a week, or more if you can. If you have kids, let them know that they should only bother you if they are broken, dying, or bleeding for 1 whole hour. Make your area comfy for you and try to remove all internet and radio with news hours while zoning out. Try to let go of everything outside of your control and work on pestering those you know and care about to get their own zone out spaces started. Rinse and repeat as often as needed.
Absolutely. All right. Yes, Hamdi, and it's quite possibly it goes all the way until Easter, but I certainly hope not.
Well, last time we had 2-week lockdown, it was for 2 weeks in April.
Yes, I know. At any rate, let's move this right along here. Let's not move this into a total news thing. Let's go.
Could be fun though.
Be quiet. Please be quiet. Shut up! Thank you. And now the WordPress news with Jono.
Absolutely. And one more time, I just want to say a happy Thanksgiving to all our American producers. Hopefully you're doing some good old civil disobedience and getting together with your families for some much needed personal time. Civil disobedience is the in thing now, folks. Everyone, civil disobedience. Maybe we say it enough, it'll actually sink in. Let's dive into the news that we do have in the world of WordPress. First thing you've got here, I've got a piece of news here, and this is more of an article on what to do if you're self-employed or a freelancer, such as myself. It is something I had to learn the hard way with my business, and that is, this is an article about the 10 types of clients you must fire today. And that was the hardest thing I had to learn about my business, was it's perfectly okay to fire a client. If they're not doing good for you, they're costing you more time than anything. I do understand when you first start out, you take a lot of crappy and difficult clients just so you can have a few bucks rolling in the door. But once you get established, it's time to fire them all and let the next poor slub that is just starting out deal with those people. Because that seems to be the birth by fire you have to do when you start your business by scratch. But this is a really good article. It does do a good description of the types of clients you just want to let go from your portfolio because they're just not worthwhile. So if you're self-employed, go read this article. It's well worth the read.
Sorry, I got distracted. I was reading some of the sound effects are a bit quiet again.
Oh, well, yeah, that's the problem. I still haven't fixed that sound. I promise to every week and I get sidetracked. I will do that for next show.
Check. So actually bug you throughout the next week.
Yep.
All right. This right here, the article you were just talking about, I
Yep.
like how he starts it out with an explanation of his own, what did you say? Birth by fire?
Birth by fire.
Yeah.
Your baptism by fire as a self-employed person. You always end up taking the crap clients when you start.
I like
nobody else wants them.
I like the way he starts out telling his own experience about it. But yeah, I've given this a read and it's definitely helped to clarify some things for me too.
Yeah. It's a real important thing, especially if you're starting out. If you're getting to inherit a business, well, you're not in too bad a shape. You're in better shape. You don't have to go through the birth by fire.
Not
or the baptism by fire.
Because if I don't pay attention to these things, I'm going to end up having clients like this myself.
Oh, there you go. There's that problem too.
Taking over the business, sure. But I better get this in my head first.
Absolutely. All right, the next article we've got for you, and this is one you're going to have to pay attention to over the coming year. And it is that PHP 8 is coming. And if you're a plugin developer or a theme developer or you do coding in WordPress, you're going to run into the PHP 8 eventually. I'm starting to learn what I can now to try and get ahead of this curve. I used to be way ahead of the curves and then I got behind them and then I just didn't care anymore. So now I'm carrying again and trying to get ahead of the curves. This is a good article to read so that you can find out what WordPress core is doing to deal with PHP 8, which is going to change everything. The amount of depreciations and code removal from PHP 7 to 8 is really high in this iteration of PHP. It's going to break a lot of stuff out there on the internet. A lot of stuff is going to break because of PHP 8. And it is going to become the next standard, and it will last for like every other standard I've noticed. Maybe it seems to last for a year, 2 years. I think tops has been 3 years I've noticed. And then they move to the next iteration, making it that much more difficult. So in this business here, your brain is never relaxed long enough to not be challenged. You are always challenged if you stay in the internet development business. So go read this article. You'll want to catch up on this.
This seems like a really good one to read up on, although I do have a question.
What's that?
Why does the PHP keep having to change? Why can't they just update what's already there?
Well, because the coding standards change, security issues need to be dealt with. They need to improve the security because the hackers don't stand still.
That's true.
It is a arms race with the hackers, and it's a constant arms race. And if they stand still, the hackers will overtake them. So they have to keep ahead of them. And what happens is code that used to be secure 5 years ago is now so full of holes that a kiddie script can walk through it.
Okay, now I understand.
So that's the problem. And that's why it's always changing.
Okay.
Okay, this one here, next one is a field guide on what is coming down the pike for WordPress 5.6, which will probably be released the first week of December, as they tend to release them in and about the first or second week of December, just in time for your Christmas sales, so that all your websites can break for the Christmas holidays. They really seem to enjoy doing that. Instead of, no, let's wait until January when things are a lot easier and smoother for people. No, let's do it just before the Christmas holidays to make sure there's enough work for all the dudes named Ben who would like to take some time off to be with their families. So anyway, it's a really good article. Talks about what the changes are coming, the application passwords, the auto updates, which I am completely opposed to, the auto updates in the core. They're going to core auto update the Prime versions. That Prime version's not the correct term. Anyway, they're going to auto update the not the point versions, but the versions like 5.6 to 5.7 versus 5.6.1 or whatever. At any rate, they're going to auto update things like that, and I'm really opposed to that, mainly because it makes my life miserable.
Seems like they have a lot of things that they're doing.
They do. They have a lot of stuff that they're doing in there. So you'll have to go read the article to see it and see what's coming down the pike for 5.6. And that means there'll be even more for 5.7.
Right down to site health check changes.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. The next article we've got here is one that I have preached for years, and that is 10 reasons free websites are bad. I can't believe there's still sites out there where you can get a free website. Because free websites, there's no such thing as free. If it's free, you are the product. You know, there is no such thing as a free lunch. You're paying for it somehow. You're paying for it with your analytics, your data, your personal data. You're paying for it some way. There's no such thing as free. I've been preaching that for years, but nobody's ever really believed me. But they're starting to now when they start realizing that all the big tech companies, like they've been gathering your private data and they're using it against you in major ways now. At any rate, this is a really good article, and it talks about the reasons why you need to get your own web hosting, buy your own domain, build your own website, control your data. I've told everyone for years, control your data. They never believe me. They always go to these free stuff. I can get it posted free. I can host all my pictures free here. I heard something about Google's doing away with their free image hosting. So anyone who's using the free image hosting is going to have them all wiped out.
That sucks.
It's like, but I saw that before. I saw it back in 2001 with an image hosting company back then when I did that. I used one and they wiped it all out. Fortunately, I fetched all my images first because I had warning. But I've seen companies close down in 48 hours and people lose everything they'd stored there. It's gone. If you're using free, you're storing data with somebody else, you don't control your data, you can lose it. Keep that in mind. There's no such thing as free. And one final thing from the alternate universe. And where's my theremin?
Would that be universe A or B?
We'll say it's from B.
Okay.
Elon Musk is now the second richest man in the world. For running a company that is so deeply in debt and doesn't produce all that much, somehow he's managed to drive his stock price into the freaking stratosphere.
That's a terrible picture of him.
Oh yeah, that's a really good picture of him actually.
Really?
Yeah, he's that ugly.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen the dude, man. Not in person, but I've seen lots of photos and video of him. And he looks just like that. Sad thing is, Elon Musk, he was one of the original creators of PayPal.
Oh.
That's where he made his first $1 billion. And he used that to start Tesla. And Tesla is a great idea. I mean, he has done a couple of amazing things. One, he managed to start a car company and make it actually sort of work, but it's so deeply in debt. And without all the government subsidies, he would never have gotten anywhere with it. So at any rate, that's what we got. So it's just funny that when Elon Musk has managed to become the second richest person in the world on paper. not in actual cash in his hand.
Yeah, I've never understood how that works either. It's this whole non-physical money thing that just confuses me, I think.
Well, at any rate, that's enough of all the news, and let's move it along here to the donor support section of the show. This is where we like to support those that have supported us. You know, this show is a value for value model, meaning that if you're getting any value out of it, we would like you to give some value back. The biggest thing we need over everything else is...
We just need cash. I know a lot of people want to send blankets or water. Just send your cash.
Absolutely. Just cash. Cash is king. You can send it via PayPal or send a check to our post office box. The address is on the website. Lots of ways you can send us money.
Or Bitcoin, maybe.
Oh, Bitcoin. I have to get a wallet for it. I have to find my wallet and reopen it and have people. I really should open my Bitcoin wallet. People may actually send us a Bitcoin from time to time.
There you go.
Even a fragment of one. But at any rate, what we've got here is if you're getting any value out of it, please give us some value back. And it doesn't always have to be cash. You can give us your time, your talent. You know, we need artwork. We're starting to run low on artwork again. So please send us some artwork. Go to the WP Plugins art generator and submit your artwork there. Or if there's things that the show needs, marketing, promotions, other bits and pieces, if you have time you want to spare to help this show grow and get more of an audience, reach out to us. We'll make sure you get all the information you need to spread the word about WP plugins. There's lots of things that can be done. So with that in mind, this week here, I want to start out by talking about the artwork. This week's artwork comes from Angel Lamu at Koa Digital. It's a really cool piece of art. If you're watching on the stream, you get a sneak preview of it before it gets published. I change the artwork on every single show. So every time someone loads up their iPad app or their podcast app on their phones, they get the new artwork when a new show is released. And this week, we have a ladybug sitting on a leaf chewing away. That leaves us to chewing on life, which is what we're doing today. We're chewing on life and all of its complexities. So thank you very much, Angel. Greatly appreciate your support of the show with the artwork. Another big thank you goes out to producers who come in over $50. We don't really have any right now, but
They'll
when
show
that
up
happens,
eventually.
well, we used to have quite a few, but then they petered off for a while. I guess we weren't producing the type of show they liked. But there are still a couple of people out there who give us a weekly subscription or a small monthly subscription well below the $50 mark. Those remain anonymous, and we thank you very much. Also, subscribe to the newsletter. Get the latest in the news and information about what we put out and when the show is released. So a big thank you to those. Another one goes out to those who have hired me because of listening to the show, and it goes out thank you to the most recent person who has hired me because they've been listening to the show. Thank you very much. It is greatly appreciated. You know who you are. Thanks a lot, Hot Guy. We really appreciate it. All right. And if you want to get all this stuff there, one last thing here. Yeah, I'm still pimping out my daughter over here. If you want to see her fancy mug on the live stream, we need a donation of $200. Until that happens, I'm not going to show her fancy mug on the live stream. And of course, that price will go up again coming soon. So if we don't get it, I'm just going to keep raising the price. Eventually, it'll be out of reach and she'll never show her face. All right, well, let's move it along here. It is time for us to dive into the meat and potatoes. Off we go into the depths of plugin depravity. All right, first off, we got ClassicPress options. We do have a couple of things from ClassicPress, and ClassicPress, of course, is the growing fork of WordPress. That is starting to come to its own to some aspects. It's still there. It's pretty decent. I like that they're still growing, putting out recent updates, etc. It will be a contender for WordPress, I believe, in the next 5 years. First thing we've got from you here, though, is we have a theme that is specifically built for ClassicPress. It is called the Canuck CP 1.02. It was released by Kevin Space. Really cool item here, one to check out. If you're using ClassicPress, this is a theme that was built for ClassicPress based upon the Canuck theme from WordPress, but removed all the Gutenberg crap. So go check this one out if you're using ClassicPress. It could be a really cool theme for you to build out your website. Another piece of news from this is that if you are on a hosting provider, no, that wouldn't be me. I don't offer Softalicious as an auto installer. I quit using auto installers years ago because I realized they were no more headache than they're worth. But there's still companies out there that are using auto installers like Softalicious. Softalicious has recognized ClassicPress as a authentic system, and they want you to you can use Softalicious to install ClassicPress into your site. So go check that one out.
Softalicious makes me think of soft ice cream.
Yes, I know. Okay, so next up, the usual ClassicPress resources, the ClassicPress blog, the ClassicPress forums. Go check all that information out. I am tripping over my tongue today horribly. Let's try this again. Okay, the first plugin I've got, it is WordPress plugin time. The first one I've got for you here is called Email Encoder. Protect email addresses. Now, one of the biggest problems of the internet out there, of course, if you've got a website, the moment you place an email address on your web pages somewhere, the spam bots arrive, quickly harvest that email address, and pretty soon you're inundated. No, that's not working.
Inundated?
Yeah, that's the word. You're covered in spam. I can't understand why my tongue won't work on that word, but we'll
Just scream a couple of times. Shake it out.
Yeah, I'll get over it. At any rate, you got spam coming your ways. And the bots continue to collect those email addresses no matter what you do. Well, what this plugin does is the moment you plug it in, turn it on, activate it, it protects all email addresses that are created throughout your website on every page with an automatic encryption. It encrypts all the email addresses with one of two methods, either a JavaScript embed or something else. And it makes it so the bots can't grab your email addresses that way. They can still get them manually, but very few spammers do that. They just go through and use the bots to collect it. A really great plugin, makes it really easy to set it up to help protect the email addresses off of your website. And this works for all email addresses, or even if you create mail to links on your website. So go check this one out. It's called Email Encoder. God, I'm just having a hell of a time here. Email Encoder, protect email addresses. And I give it a 5 dragon rating.
That actually reminds me of one of the plugins I covered before, the Bad Bots one. I still have that running and it's still doing really well. I only get an update about once every week or so, and it's sometimes not even that often. But I figured I'd mention it because those two in tandem might be a good pair.
Oh, they probably would be.
First one I have is MC Goodbye Howdy. I really like this one. This plugin is all about removing the howdy so-and-so at the top of the page for your WordPress dashboard. I mean, my dad probably loves the howdy, what with his cowboy personality. No?
No.
Well, for me, it's always kind of reminded me of Woody from Toy Story. Every time I see it, I've got a picture of him in my head.
That's horrible.
I have kids, man. I think of movies and my mind automatically goes to all the young kid Disney movies. It's like they're stuck and I'll never get them out.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got a few of them there from when you were a kid.
So this one is just, it's awesome. It actually gives you multiple options. There is day part, which connects to your time of day with a good morning or good afternoon. Random international greetings. I've only seen French and Spanish, although I also saw Hawaiian also. I've seen those so far, and I've been leaving this one on just to see how many international greetings there are. Random positive phrases. The first one I got was, "You're a superhero."
Awesome.
And the last one, this is also the best one in my opinion. You can create a greeting of whatever you like. Totally personalize it. And there are no restrictions. I've tried everything. Every word I could think of. And it popped right up. No problem. I like having these options. This is a really fun one too. I could see a bunch of fun jokes being played with this one.
Oh, absolutely.
So I give this one a 5 dragon rating.
Sounds like it could be very entertaining if you got a couple of different admins signed into the website.
So much fun.
Okay. The next plugin I've got for you here today is called Easy Options Hide Shipping Method per Product for WooCommerce.
Wow.
I know, it's a long one. They probably could have shortened it to make shipping methods optional WooCommerce or something.
Even that's kind of long, but a lot better than
it's better than this one. This one's almost does a tongue twister. I had to slow down really hard to read that one out. At any rate, it's a great little tool, simple and effective. If you're running a WooCommerce site and you're offering multiple shipping options, but sometimes certain products you don't want to ship out through certain shipping options, you set this on a per product basis to hide that. Say you do local pickup and UPS shipping, and for some products you won't ship them, but they can come local pick them up. You can hide the UPS shipping option so that they only have the option for local pickup. They must come pick it up. So that's basically how it works. Really great, simple plugin. This developer here, I was looking through, this is a brand new plugin. It's less than a couple of weeks old, but he released a whole slew of simple WooCommerce plugins, much as this. So you might want to check his portfolio in the WordPress plugin site. But at any rate, this one here is a really great tool, and I think it's something I may have to use on an upcoming project for WooCommerce I'm doing, which will have multiple shipping options. But anyway, go check this one out. At the moment, I give it a 4-dragon rating. Go check it out. Easy options, hide shipping method per product for WooCommerce.
As easy to use as the name is hard to say.
Absolutely.
Next one I have is Custom User Guide. This one is a brand new, hot off the press, neat little plugin. I found it while I was browsing the new plugins for my pet project. It's actually pretty fun to use. You plug it in, go to the user guide on the left, and start making your interactive user guide. Now, I tried like 5 different ways to explain exactly what you do, but I had a really hard time explaining it, so I have to say just go and play with it and figure it out. It shows you how to do it and what to do. It's actually really easy, just really hard to explain. I don't know why I have such a hard time explaining it though. It's designed to work with both PC screens and mobile screens, which is very useful. It removes the need for you to tweak it yourself and make it work on both types of screens, which I thought was pretty cool. You can also set it up so it's just PC or just mobile as well. And now, since this is still really new, I don't know what sort of kinks still need ironing out. There does always seem to be something down the road, but I will keep an eye on this plugin as I keep using it, and I'll get back to you about it. Though if anyone else out there could give it a go and let me know what they think, that would be awesome. I would love to hear back about any of the plugins I cover from another point of view. So go check it out. I rate this at 4 dragons.
Excellent. Well, from what I can see of the plugin itself, it looks like it's a tooltips. It gives tooltips to different parts of your site. For when visitors hit your site, you pop up a little window that says, click here for your account page. Click this to do that. There are tooltips on so that people can find their way around your website a little easier. So it does look like it'd be an interesting plugin if they've got it nicely ironed out the kinks.
Well, I haven't found any kinks yet, but then again, maybe I just don't know how to purposefully break things yet.
Well, you'll get to that. All right, the next one I have here for you is called Sold Out Badge for WooCommerce. Now, this is a very useful one. Now, I can't remember if the latest WooCommerce has the sold out badges automatically now, but for a long time, WooCommerce didn't really have a sold out badge or one you could control when your products were out of stock. This is a plugin to deal specifically with that issue of when you're selling stuff via WooCommerce. So when the products run out of stock, you can slap up a sold out badge so people know you sold out that product. That can be beneficial in many ways. One, it could be indicate to visitors like this is a really hot product. It's all sold out. Come back later when we have more, or just as an indication that, hey, this is the last one or it's sold out. The great thing about this one, though, is this particular plugin makes it really easy to change the term sold out to anything you want. You can change the words, anything out, say, such as say, this was a really hot product. We're sorry we're sold out right now, but more are coming. you can put that as a badge that pops up there over the product thumbnail. So a really cool tool, and it does come in useful when you're building out a WooCommerce website to help ensure that people don't try to buy a product that's not in stock. As soon as they see sold out, they'll understand it. But it does also indicate if you're selling products like, hey, this is a hot product, and people have this, shortage mentality. Think toilet paper. Toilet paper runs out. Everybody ran to the store to buy more, and it ran out even more. So same problem. When people get a scarcity mentality, they want to buy it. So that's a very useful item that can be used on your site. So anyway, go check this one out. It's called Sold Out Badge for WooCommerce, and I give it a 5 dragon rating.
So do you need to place this on your sold out items individually, or does it just...
It's automatic.
Okay.
The moment the item's out of stock, this automatically pops up.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Last one I've got is, hello, I am here. Video conferences.
I'm not here. I'm gone.
This could be a very useful plugin if you're getting a bit tired of the extreme lagging that's been happening with the various conferencing sites. I know that both of my daughters have had issues when they are using this ridiculous one. What's it called again?
Zoom sucks wind.
That's the one. For some reason, their entire school decided like...
Everybody decided Zoom was the way to go as soon as the pandemic took effect.
Half the time what ends up happening is they log in and the connection is lost. It's ridiculous.
I see their quality is just as good as it was when the beginning.
Yeah.
I bet their security's not much better either still.
Probably not. That's why they're on a separate network from me. But this is pretty easy to set up. I wasn't really able to fully test it out because I don't have anyone to contact really, but it does seem to be pretty good. It's well updated. I'd love it if somebody out there were to test it themselves, if they have someone they can check it out with. All you need to do is take the short code and add it into any page, or you can create a whole new page and insert the short code. Send the URL to the person or persons you are wanting to link with, and off you go. Seems to be a good way to get around having to use one of the ridiculous bigger companies out there right now. Now there is a paid version, and apparently paying for it is the only way to get around the Jitsi logo floating about. If anybody out there winds up using it, let me know. I rated it at 4 dragons.
Very nice. Okay, this show currently brought to you by... Are you tired of the same old web hosting? Not having the resources you need to run your website properly? Having a lack of control? Then you need johnoverall.com web hosting, providing you with all the resources you need to smoothly run your WordPress website or ClassicPress website. With strict limits on the number of clients allowed per server, johnoverall.com provides high-quality, fast server performance. Visit johnoverall.com for web hosting that won't slow you down. Absolutely, and my last server with space on it is starting to fill up, so if you want quality hosting, you better get in quick, because once it's filled, I'm not opening up another server. All right. Next thing we got, contests. Our contests are powered by the Simple Giveaways plugin. They were kind enough to supply us with the plugin to run our contests, so thank you very much to you guys. It's a really great plugin. I've been using it since it was brand new, hot off the presses, and it has grown so nicely over the last 3 years. So if you're looking for a plugin to run your contests on your website, go check out the Simple Giveaways plugin. No, they don't give me any money. They just gave me the free plugin. All right, I do want to thank Charlie again for coming to the aid of the show and getting our contests all pulled together and organized, and they are happening, and we have a long list of contests coming up through the new year. Thank you very much, Charlie. I greatly appreciate your support of the show, and that's what I mean, folks. Lots of ways to support the show besides sending in your cash. This was one of them. There is a new interview out right now. We have an interview with Arindo Duque from WP Admin Pages Pro and WP Ultima. The plugin was reviewed in episode 484, and we did have a contest where we were giving away this plugin. So it's a really great plugin. Go check out the interview. It's a really good interview. We talked about those plugins and a few other things. And we do have a new contest out right now. we have a contest out for a gift or cart lift for the one more time. Let's try this. Let's back this up and back the bus up for a second.
I need a beep, beep, beep for you. There you go.
All right. I skipped over a spot there. That's what threw me off. I wanted to say thank you we do have a contest winner for the WP Admin Pages Pro. The winner was Shabazz Qureshi.
That's probably closer, I think.
Qureshi, there we go. So congratulations to him, though if he doesn't reach out to me soon, he's going to lose that license and we'll recycle it because I send out an email. If you don't respond in 2 weeks, we recycle the license. So if you're listening, Shabazz, you better reach back out to me. I've sent you a couple emails now. All right, we do have a new giveaway contest for you. Started last week. We've got one more week left running in it where you can win a lifetime license for Cartlift. It's valued at $249 from Rex Theme. And I did do an interview with the fellow from Rex Theme last week, I believe, and that will be released this next week. So coming up soon is an interview with him. This plugin here, you can help win back over 20% of your abandoned customers. Recover over 20% of your abandoned cart customers with an automated email campaigns that are sent out. This is a plugin, so what happens, people go, they hit your store, they load up their cart, they get sidetracked, or they go, oh, I want to think about this, and they close the window. They'll get an email back that says, hey, you left all this stuff in your shopping cart. Do you want to buy it? And maybe they've gone, oh, well, maybe I do actually. They log on, follow the link, and they buy all this stuff. Now, I've done things like that myself. I load up my shopping cart, I get sidetracked, or I go, oh, am I sure I want to spend the money? Go think about it. And I've had one or two of those send me an email and go, actually, I think I want to buy that stuff. So it is a good thing to do. Could help you gain back. Even if it gets you back just a couple of shopping carts, it's well worth the money for the plugin. And just think, if you enter the contest, you could win this lifetime license, which is a $250 value. Now, the other thing is Sultan from Rex Theme was on episode 485. That's why I remember it. I did an interview with somebody else last week, or this week, which is coming out next week. Episode 485 is where I did an interview with Sultan, or not an interview, but he was a guest host on the show for that show, and he talked about Cartlift and several other of the plugins that they produce.
That was fun.
Yes, it was actually a really interesting episode. So if you're a developer or just someone who wants to get involved in show business, reach out to us, and you can be on the WP Plugin show as a guest host. The only requirement is you bring 2 plugins to the floor, and you be ready to talk about them. And be ready to talk about everything else. I'll get you all the information you need so that you're included in what's happening in the show. So anyway, go to wppluginsa2z.com/contest to enter the contest for more information. And I covered up this episode. The plugins I covered was Sold Out Badge for Woocommerce, which I gave a 5 to. The Easy Options Hide Shopping Method per Product for Woocommerce, which I gave a 4 to. Wow, I got through that with one try. The Email Encoder, which protect email addresses, which I gave a 5 to.
And I covered Hello, I Am Here video conferences, which I gave a 4 to. It just seems like such a happy title. Custom User Guide, which I gave a 4. And MC Goodbye Howdy, which I gave a 5.
All right. And a couple of quick reminders before we move into the Q&A segment of the show is there's no meetup plan currently. Maybe in the new year, maybe at Christmas time. Who knows? Life could change. You want to find out more about my personal insanity? Go check out theroguestavern.com. Really great place to visit. If you have any suggestions on plugins or would like to have stuff reviewed, please submit them to our website at wppluginsa2z.com/submit. And it is Q&A time for us right now. This is the segment of the show that we split into. The first half is here for those of you on the podcast, listening through your podcast app. The second half of the show, you got to go listen to the YouTube version of the show to get the last half of it. So you can just basically speed forward to the end if you've already listened to the show on your podcast app. At any rate, let's take it away. Amber, you have questions. What do we got this week?
Where's my jingle?
Oh, your jingle.
Yeah, I like my jingle.
Yeah. I got to learn where it's at. There it is.
It's question and answer time.
Yay. So most of my actually all my questions are essentially aimed right at you today.
Oh, goody.
Yep. First question is there no, that's it got put in here backwards. What the heck? Okay.
Well, that's the way I copied them. It's your fault, not mine.
But it's at the bottom of the list, the first ones.
Read them from the bottom up then.
How'd you do that?
I didn't. I copied and pasted exactly what I got from you.
No.
I don't type.
Liar.
You know I don't type.
That's true.
So if I copy and paste it, I can't reverse it. I'm sorry. I don't copy them one at a time. They're in a group. I copy and paste them as a group.
Oh, I know what happened. This is my question from last week, and I have that down at the bottom now. So
yeah.
Okay. How did you get started in WordPress?
How did I get started in WordPress? Oh,
yes.
That's a good question. I need that one. That's not a great question. How I got started in WordPress was I had just sold my computer store, and I was deciding to go back into the web development industry. I was in the development industry in early 2000s, and then in the mid 2000s I bought a computer store thinking I would like to be in retail business, and I stayed in it for about 3 years and realized I needed to get out of retail because, well, I hate people. So I don't hate people, but dealing with the public is really hard. At any rate, what happened was, after I sold my computer store, I was looking for something to do, and I saw that there was multiple CMS systems at the time. There was Joomla, Drupal, and WordPress. All three were quite good. And I started experimenting with them, seeing which one would be the most intuitive one to use, one that I could create websites, turn it over to clients, because I didn't want to have to manage and maintain their websites. I wanted to build websites, turn it over to them, and they get to deal with the mess. It's all theirs until the next time they need it built or if they need it fixed from being hacked. So that's how I got started with WordPress. I checked out Joomla. I found that it wasn't very intuitive. Drupal, I found, was designed specifically for developers. It's designed for geeks. The average person will never understand Joomla, no matter how hard they try. WordPress was actually built for the average person. It was intuitive, easy to use, and was growing very rapidly. And that's how I got started in WordPress.
Okay. Joomla?
Joomla.
Okay.
They're still around, but they're like less than 2% of the marketplace. WordPress has the majority of it, and then the rest of the market is spread to everyone else. And there's dozens of them now.
Okay, so you essentially got started in WordPress because you were already working on people's websites.
Well, not exactly. I wasn't working on their websites when I came back to the tech industry. I had 1 or 2 clients I'd held on to. Like, I started my business in 1999. And initially I was doing web design the old-fashioned way with HTML code, and then when PHP came about, we were incorporating PHP calls into HTML code. We were building basically what WordPress became. We were building that the hard way by mashing together several different PHP programs into an HTML website, and multiple database calls is how we were doing it. So what happened was, the computer guy, I've always played with computers. It just, web design was just something that I found relatively easy to do.
It's very pattern oriented. I do like that about this.
It's very pattern oriented.
Okay, well, what I'm wondering is, like, how did you go from being computer fixer person to being a WordPress guy? Like, I know that I like, you had your own shop for a while.
Yeah. And
you said you held on to a couple of clients. Were you still working for those people and working on their websites while you were also owning and running the shop?
I would keep their website sort of up to date and keep them running. I still had my servers. I still had a couple of servers running at the time. Like, I started my server business in 1999 too.
Okay.
And I kept a few clients on there because I needed hosting for myself, and I kept the clients around because their fees for my servers helped pay for my servers. So I got my hosting for free.
Okay, so essentially what happened is you had the computer business kind of like as a side thing almost.
Well, this computer business was a way that I could make money without having to actually work.
Ah, okay.
Because computers, I understand computers, and I'm able to build computers and fix hack computers, and I understand this stuff.
Okay, so back up to the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get into taking care of people's websites?
That happened in somewhere around 98 or so, when I first came out of college, and I was developing websites, and I saw the future of everything. In the late 90s, e-commerce didn't exist. The phone book was still being used in the late 90s. It's like, ask around anyone now. Ask them if they can find their Yellow Pages phone book.
I have one, but it's really thin now.
Yeah, they're really thin.
They don't make very good booster seats for kids anymore.
No, they used to be very thick, and they used to be everywhere. It's like you can't find them now. They don't even deliver them anymore. But of course, I saw those changes coming, and I realized the internet was the future. And of course, when the internet first came out, it was like it was the most magnificent thing on the planet. And then, of course, it's been corrupted in the last 6 years. It's been massively corrupted with the big tech companies. They've managed to turn most of it back into walled gardens. I mean, AOL tried to create the walled garden that Facebook and Twitter have now.
Poor AOL. It was just ahead of its time.
They were too far ahead of their time is what happened. They had the right idea. They were just too far ahead of their time. So yeah, I've always been playing with computers. I've been playing with computers since I was a teenager, off and on. So
in order to get your business up and going, did you make a business plan, or did you just kind of fall into it with an idea? Or
I fell into it with an idea. I gave up making business plans years ago. I have a plan for my business, but I don't have a business plan. I have a plan on what I want to do, things I want to accomplish, and every once in a while I write them down and review it. But it was just the hardest thing getting into the business was finding the right clients, learning how to run a business, and learning how to value myself. My biggest problem was I undervalued myself for about 10 years. I was underpriced myself, and people would tell me how grateful they were and how well I did on everything, but I didn't value myself as well as they valued me. Once I started valuing myself at what they valued me at, my whole business changed.
Okay. So yes, you kind of did plan things, but only in your head, and I guess it kind of moved with every step that you took.
Yeah. Okay. That's what happened. It just kept moving. Every time I do something, it improves, or I make a mistake and I have to change something and improve it.
Okay, so then aside from the customers, what was the hardest thing that you had to get used to on running your own WordPress business?
Billing.
Why?
Because I'd often forget to send out the billing.
Okay, that doesn't surprise me.
I forget to send out a bill, or I get to the end and I see all the hours and I go, is that really worthwhile? I'd feel like did I give them value for all these hours I'm sending them? Are they going to freak out when they when they get the bill? Did I make sure I warn them enough that they're going to get a big bill? Billing, and that's often the downfall of many small business people is their billing, because they're not used to billing. Billing is a hard thing to do. And the other thing that comes after that is collecting on those bills, because you will find clients that will lag in paying you, or dodge you, or not pay you, or want to pay you half and negotiate. And that's back to that article we did in the beginning. That's one of the types of clients you got to fire.
Yeah.
You got to fire them real quick, because they will continue to do that to you. So I learned that the hard way. So we're going to take it. You got one last question. We're going to push that one into the next segment, unless you got more here. So we'll push that into the segment for after the credits, and this will be just for the YouTube listeners. So hang tight, YouTube listeners. We are going to close out the show here just for the podcast listeners, and we'll be back in a second. And it is tequila time. So let my girl take us on out of here.
Reminders for the show. All show notes can be found at wpplugins.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the newsletter for more useful information delivered directly to your inbox. WP Plugins A to Z is a show that offers honest and unbiased reviews of plugins created by developers because you support the show. Help keep the show honest and unbiased by going to wppluginsaToZ.com/donate and set the donation level that fits your budget. Help us make the show better for you by subscribing and reviewing the show at Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and in the iTunes Store. You can also leave us a review on our Facebook page using wppluginsaToZ.com/Facebook. You can also watch the show live on YouTube, check out the screencasts and training videos, and remember to subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications of all new videos. Follow the show on Twitter at WPPluginsAToZ. John can also be reached at his website, johnoverall.com, or email him directly, john@wppro.ca. Thanks for joining us and have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the show. This show is copyright by johnoverall.com. So until next time, have yourselves a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be out there on the globe today.
There we have it. All right, let's roll back in here. I like that everyone's teasing me in the comments. That's loads of fun. It's because I can't type. I know I can't type. I barely made it. I barely got my typing skills up fast enough to get into the applied communication program.
Yeah, your issue is that you only use your pointer fingers.
No, I use three. I use 3 fingers on each hand.
You've upgraded.
Yeah, I've upgraded.
Okay.
But they trip over each other on the keyboard. Which is, I actually got better at it when I was in college. I got up to I had to do 32 words a minute to get into the program I wanted to, and I managed to get up after 2 months of solid practice daily typing stuff and really effort. I got up to 34 words a minute. So as soon as I passed that test, I quit trying.
Yeah, I can get like 92 words a minute. So
yes, I know. Lots of people can, but
actually, not lots of people. Like, I've really had to harass both my girls to actually learn to type.
Yeah, well, see, the problem is I grew up in an age where typing wasn't necessary. I graduated high school. They were still teaching typing on the Selectric IBM, on IBM Selectric. And many people are going, what the fuck's an IBM Selectric?
Oh, you're so nice to yourself.
Uh-huh. I know. All right, so you've got one more question here.
Yes. How did you learn all of this? Like, how did you figure out how to get your business going, how to make things work, how to do all this? Or did you just keep breaking and then fixing? Or did you take courses? Did you have teachers, like people who taught you everything they knew? Or how did you do it?
Well, I never had any teachers. I took courses online. I'd take the occasional course online, which are basically just, learn as you go stuff. But the vast majority of everything I know is through the School of Hard Knocks, and the fact that I just enjoy getting a problem and solving a problem. Someone gives me a problem, like some of my favorite things to do is when somebody's website is hacked, to figure out how the hacker got in there, how to undo it, how to clean it up, how to save it. It's like one of my greatest claims to fame for my business for the longest time was I had a 97% success rate of rescuing hacked websites, and they didn't lose all their data. I had clients come to me, it's like after they'd called other people and say, yeah, there's nothing we can do. We got to wipe it all out and start all over. And they're like, oh my God, I can't lose all the data. And they'd somehow find me, and I say, oh, I've got a pretty good chance I can fix it. And they were happy when I sent them the large bill they always get for that kind of work. But that's basically what it boiled down to. I learned this stuff through a lot of trial and error, a lot of intuitive knowledge, because you find that everything on the computers are highly intuitive. They are A and B. They only know 2 things. Computers only know 2 things. They know yes and no, ones and zeros. That's it. So everything is logical. It's completely, absolutely logical. And the way things work, it's logic. It has to work in a certain pattern for it to work. Without the pattern, it breaks. And that was why I found computers easy, because I could see the patterns. And I could work through the patterns and find the patterns, because there's always a pattern. Which is why computer geeks can see things that are coming down the road, because there's patterns. The whole universe is full of patterns. So yeah, it was just trial and error. Most of it. But I did take a few courses. I did sign up for the occasional course here and there. And of course I had training back, or not training, but I had some education back in junior high and a little bit in high school, when I took computer courses there and learned how to program. Like the first language I learned to program in is called BASIC, which was the standard language back once upon a time. You have to go learn that one on your own if you want to date that one.
Well, is there like a list somewhere or something where people like me could go for all these sites and everything? And besides from knowing the word basic, Like I've managed to find a site called freecodecamp.org.
Yeah,
That's an awesome site.
Codecamp.org. I can't remember. There's Code Academy.
Code Academy.
Code Academy is really nice. I signed up your brother, both your brothers. I signed them up for Code Academy because they wanted to learn to code. In fact, your younger brother there, he wanted to learn to code, and so I signed him up on Code Academy. And within a couple hours, he was writing basic JavaScript.
Nice.
So it's like it, and that was with what they offer for free. That was with the free stuff. They do have more advanced stuff you can take, which you got to pay for. But don't pay for it until you've worked through all their basic stuff, because once you've got the basic stuff down, you really, if you have the intelligence to work through that basic stuff in short order, you don't need their advanced stuff because you'll understand enough to be able to write advanced code.
Okay.
So, you might want to shortcut your time by paying for the advanced stuff, but take the free stuff at Code Academy. It's well worth it. I mean, I went in there and I logged into his account a couple of times, and when I needed to refresh myself on CSS, I've logged in there to see CSS. They've got CSS, JavaScript, PHP. I can't remember all the languages. They've got all the languages in there.
They have all that on freecodecamp.org too.
But try Code Academy. Maybe their lessons are easier to understand. Because there is a way to present the lessons that makes them easy to understand. Some places present them in such a way, it's like, what are you telling me?
It's like a mini puzzle.
Yeah.
That's essentially what the codecamp.org does. Is it's every time that they give you something new, they tell you what they want you to do, but then they leave it up to you to figure it out.
All right. No, it's not. Hey, MDN, no, it's not the lack of typing skills for the delay in seeing the comments. The problem is I get focused on other things. I tend to zoom my focus on things and I only skim other stuff. And then when I catch something new, I pop back over, and I just caught your comment on the reason for the delay of me seeing the comments. So
Perfect.
And Hemdian also says, coding is easy. User requirements are unnecessarily complex and often expressed in the most obscure fashion possible. Yeah, they want everyone to think coding is magic. It's not really.
Okay, can you explain that to me?
User requirements are unnecessarily complex.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what he means there, but basically what I think it means is that when you're setting up and doing the coding is that I don't have an answer for that one.
Well, Hemdian, then maybe you could explain it further.
But the second half of it, I understand. They often expressed in the most obscure fashion possible. That there is coding that's expressed in that is obscure, but it's really not. It's not magic. It's just understanding the relationships between the different functions in the code. If you understand the relationships, it's all a piece of cake.
Wait, it's not magic, so I'm not learning magic?
Well, you are learning a type of magic, actually, but not the magic you really want to learn.
Oh, so I don't need the wand then.
I mean, your average person out there thinks what coders do is magic. Because they turn on a computer, they've got this beautifully display, and they have no idea what goes on behind the scenes.
True enough.
That's why I hate modern operating systems, because it's so hard for me to get behind the scenes to see what's going on. Because I like to know what's going on behind the scenes. It's like I noticed, like when I boot up my Windows machine, there's this moment where it's loading Windows and you see the cursor flash down the screen, but you see no writing. Well, once upon a time, you used to see all that writing, what it was doing. It tells you all the things, and somehow they've managed to hide the writing.
Maybe they just made it the same color as the background.
That's probably what they've done, but at any rate, you used to know what they were doing. I used to know what programs it was loaded, what files were being loaded, where it was going. Now it's like, fuck, I have no idea what it's doing anymore. It's kind of like adding a new email address to my Outlook now. What used to take me 30 seconds to accomplish now takes me like 5 minutes to try and follow their steps. And so I finally figured out the backdoors. The backdoors all still exist in Windows. Mm-hmm. You just got to find them.
It's really hard to find the bloody backdoors. Like
yes, they've hidden them.
It took me a whole day to figure out just how to remove a program that I couldn't easily delete.
They've hidden all the backdoors. The backdoors used to be there, or used to be right front and center, because the vast majority of people that use computers up until about the mid-2000s were computer geeks. Mm-hmm. But then around the mid-2000s, it became full-on mainstream with the influx of the internet and the burst of the internet. And the people who did it, they didn't understand. They'd bring their computers into the store and say, well, does this and this? Yeah, it's perfectly normal. And they go, oh, okay. So what happened was the programmers started hiding all that stuff behind a big screen so that the people didn't know what was going on. That was the wizard behind the curtain was pulling all the knobs.
Pay no attention to behind the
Pay
curtain.
no attention to the man behind the curtain. Yes. So anyway, anything else for me?
Let me look over my questions that I've written down, because I might have skipped one or two.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll do that.
Should get the Jeopardy song. That's not Jeopardy.
Shysters show up and take advantage of people's goodwill and generosity.
Yeah. No.
No, I've asked all my questions.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there we go.
All right. Well, we got a sudden burst of thing here on the screen.
I have to write code for business people, and you often wonder, what do they really want to achieve? Because most of what they obsess over seems to give very little real value.
Ah.
That makes sense.
That
Okay,
makes
now
sense.
I understand. Huh.
That's as specific as you need to be, Hemdian.
Thank you.
That makes perfect sense as to what you're saying there.
Yeah.
Yes, people. I didn't realize you were talking about the end users asking you to produce something, because they often have no idea on what they really want and have no idea on what it takes to accomplish that.
Now I understand what you mean by user requirements.
Yes.
That makes a lot more sense now. Thank you.
All right. Well, I think that's a wrap. We will call that a show for today, and it's been fun. It's been entertaining, folks. And for those of you that are still listening on the stream, there's nobody left. They're all gone. Looks like we hit a maximum of 6 on the stream, though, which is pretty cool.
That's a few.
So we will call it a day at that. You all have yourselves a good one, and greatly appreciate all of the input on the chat window. Take care now, folks. Bye-bye.
Have a great one.